when I lost the weight, that now became my standard. I was just like, I'll never go back. I'll never be that obese Dustin again. This is the new me. My standards were raised.
I love it.
And so that's what I think is the best guardrail somebody can set for themselves is if you're not setting standards for yourself, get around people with higher standards, they will naturally pull it up. And now that will be your new standard in life. And so it could be an income standard. Like I'm sure there's numbers we all worked for in our teenage years we would never go back and take a job for. But that was a great standard because you never had a job. So you start at zero. So these are standards that increase over time. So I think it's just constantly improving your standards for yourself as you grow.
Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, the show designed to help gym owners improve and grow their business. I'm your host, Andres Escobar, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. On today's episode, we interview Dustin Bogle. Our discussion will cover topics such as fitness, wrestling, entrepreneurship, leadership, business growth, mentorship, delegation, hiring, personal development, and the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. If that wasn't enough, Dustin will also provide resources to help gym owners improve their lead generation and their hiring process. Dustin is a fitness enthusiast, personal trainer, former wrestler, and, of course, a gym owner. Dustin's dedication to fitness and his entrepreneurial spirit has led him to become a successful gym owner. He believes that motivated and energized CEO is an essential for growing a successful business, and so do I. If this is your first time listening to our show, please consider subscribing to the podcast and share this episode with someone whom you think will enjoy it. As we dive into this episode, listen to how Dustin started his journey and his company. Hey everybody, it's Andres Escobar, host of the Gym Owners Podcast, and I wanted to make sure that we have Dustin Bogle here. I wanted to bring him here for you guys. He is doing some amazing things. He's written an awesome book. We'll talk about that more, but I want to make sure that we welcome Dustin into your world because you need to have him in your world. So Dustin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, man. Love connecting with other business owners and gym owners. And you guys are my people, so I feel right at home being on the Gym Owner Growth podcast, man. So let's do this. Let's talk shop, man.
Yeah, love it. Thank you so much. So by the way, before we go deep, I want to make sure that everybody understands who you are, a little bit of your story, your origin story. You're a superhero, right? You got superpowers, man. I'm telling you, the things you're doing, I'm telling you, you got superpowers. You don't have to agree with me, but let me bring that out of you because if you could share with us, the audience, a little bit about how you got here and what you're doing.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories to share is how I got into fitness, how I got into pro wrestling, and then how I got into owning gyms. And they're all kind of interlaced with one another. So if I go back to when I was in high school, I was actually an obese, overweight teenager. I was tipping the scales at 260 pounds. And so I'm just eating garbage, man. I'm eating fast food. I'm eating candy. And I'm sitting on my butt. I go to school. I come home, and I'm just a gamer. And then I'm watching TV. And I'm just a blob. And so I didn't feel so good about myself. So no surprise, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I definitely didn't talk to girls. And so a lot of people want to go back to their high school weight. I do not. That was when I was in my worst shape. And so there I was, just living my life, low confidence, head down, always wearing a hoodie, just kind of being wanting to hide from the world because of how I felt in my body. And so one day, a friend who would talk to me every now and then, he sat with me in one of the classes, he taps me on the shoulder. And so this guy, he had some arms, he would go to the gym, he's fit. He's like, hey, I'm going to the gym after school. Do you want to come with me? And he didn't attack me or body shame me or make me feel bad. It was just like an invite to hang out with, a bro. And I was like, sure, man, let's do it. I'm totally down, not knowing what I'm getting myself signed up for. So we go and we proceed to do a standard meathead workout, which for the guys, you guys probably know, it's that Monday workout, chest and biceps. And so you're just going to get your favorite muscles pumped up with lots of blood, and it's just going to be a great ego boost. And that's what we hit that day. And that was exactly what I needed, because when I looked in the mirror and I saw this pump and I was feeling these endorphins, I said, oh my God, what have I been missing out on? This feels amazing. This is like a drug. And so I committed to go with him every day after school, Monday through Friday, for 6 months. And I myself went through a body transformation. I lost 60 pounds of body fat in 6 months. I got down to a lean 200. I had visible abs. I had arms with veins. I was just looking great. And I said, oh my God, I am proud of what I accomplished, but now I want to pass this gift to others. If there's a way that I can impact other people's health. And it's because, when I looked at my household and my family, they're all terribly sick, man. I came from an obese family. One of my aunts died in her late 40s of cancer. One of them of stroke. And so we have every heart disease or health disease you can think of. And I'm just used to seeing all these overweight people. And when you're just seeing that as normal, you don't realize that it's, not normal, and that you shouldn't be okay with everybody being overweight. And so I transformed myself, and I said, hey, I'll definitely, help out my family if they ask for it, but I'm going to help other families as well. So that's kind of how I got bit by the iron bug, addicted to the gym, and decided to become a personal trainer. Now, funny story that kind of branches off from that. That same gentleman who invited me to the gym also invited me to come hang out with him at his house. And he said, I have a pro wrestling ring in my backyard. And I was like, what? Like, who do you know has this in their backyard? So I kid you not, I go to his backyard, and legitimately his dad built him a 16-foot by 16-foot ring,
wow.
metal poles, pads, ropes, everything. His dad was a contractor and just basically watched it on Monday Night Raw, figured out how to build one himself, and built it because we kind of came from an area where there's a little bit of crime, and you could easily slip into like joining a gang or get into trouble. So his mindset was, if I could keep my kids here in my backyard, at least I could keep an eye on them, even though they're doing something crazy and dangerous. I'm happy they're doing that rather than they're out raising hell with a local gang.
I'd rather take them out of the hospital than out of jail. Yeah, I love that mindset.
That's a way to say it. So then I sit down, I watch one of their shows, and I'm like, I want to get involved. How do I become a wrestler? And so they said, oh, we'll teach you. Just, come here and we'll show you all of our drills, the rolls, the falling over, they call it bumps, the moves. And I always watch Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is during the 90s, the Attitude Era. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind. It's like a peak era of wrestling. All the kids were talking about it at high school. Did you see Monday Night Raw? And so I was like, you guys got my attention. And then, now I'm getting fit. Like I see these guys on Monday Night Raw, and now I could get in the ring and I could do what they're doing. I'm like, sold. Count me in. This is a blast. This is something I did not know you could get into that I want to get into.
And by the way, I got to argue with you because I think the 80s is a better era than the 90s. Yes, I seen your shirt, Randy Macho Man Savage, I was a Hulkster, so listen, brother.
that was definitely, that was huge. That's when they broke a lot of attendance records. I mean, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, I'm talking like almost 100,000 people there in attendance. Like, wrestling doesn't bring that many people together anymore. And it's funny, I said, how many pro wrestlers do you know? And most people are like, none. I'm like, well, now you know one. I'm that one, right?
Yes.
So eventually we had to go to a formal pro wrestling school. And, again, for those that know the wrestling world, it is a part where you're really going to be torn apart. Like they want to discourage you. They do chops. Like people are like, is it fake? I'm like, come see my chest after a day. You had to put your arms around the ropes and let every guy give you a hard chop on the chest. And you got, your chest looks like Hamburger Helper after the day's over. You take 100 chops, they beat you down, they slam you 100 times, and it's to test your resilience and do you really want it. If you keep showing up every week, you finally become one of them and you can get into the industry. So I get professionally trained, and the first character I choose is Diablo because I was this quiet, nice guy. And I said, now that I'm fit and I'm confident, I want to be this total jerk. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to knock popcorn out of people's hands. And I'm going to tell them, screw you. And I'm going to have long hair. And I'm going to play metal music. And I'm just going to be this rebel. Yeah, Mother Nature has taken it from me, as you guys can tell. But as you see over my shoulder, and I always have it with arm's reach, I have a book out on Amazon called Reinforce Your Gym. If you want to see pictures,
No,
there's
look
me
at that guy.
with long hair, and you could
The
read a
only one
little
with long
bit of
hair.
me.
So, you're
Yeah,
reading the book. You're like, which one was he? Yeah, that happened to me. So, yeah, he's top right and Diablo,
yeah.
which is
So
a
that,
counter personality of who you really are.
yeah,
When I
and
first met
so
you, we actually, interesting enough, we met online, and then we had breakfast and like the same week. It was really cool. Just an amazing, like God kind of put us together. That was pretty cool. I'm glad for
yeah,
that.
no, 100%, man, and so that's why again, all these stories I'm telling, this person came into my life and completely changed the trajectory of my life. I don't think I would ever got fit unless that person came and invited me to the gym,
Yeah.
and so that's why I get so excited about and getting people to just show up to the gym and be that version of the invitation to them, like to be their first invite, to be the person that says walk through the doors, watch how it's going to change their life. I'm basically taking what was done for me and doing it for multiple gyms
Yeah.
across the world and multiple people. But yeah, so basically what happened is now I'm wrestling, 4 or 5 years go by, and I'm getting into the career of I'm doing personal training Monday through Friday, and then I'm wrestling on the weekends. And I'm starting to see, man, my buddies are getting a lot more bookings because they're this really exciting tag team. Well, my brother at the same time as me got into wrestling too, and we went, but we both decided to be singles wrestler. So we said, hey, why don't we team up? Why don't we become a brother tag team? So that's why I shifted from the persona of Diablo to the Cutler brothers. And this is where I use my personal training influence because he got into being a trainer and then I was doing it as well. So we became these evil personal trainers, the Cutler brothers. And we would throw protein powder in the opponent's eyes and he couldn't see. And we would get a resistance band and I would do a chest fly while it's around their neck. So it's choking them. And my brother's distracting the ref. And we would just be these evil personal trainers in the ring. And that was, our gimmick that we used. And so it was a lot of fun, and I was able to mix my love for fitness into wrestling. And so that's where we definitely got a lot more attention, a lot more bookings, and things really started to take off. But I always had a deadline. I told myself, if I don't make it to a big company and get a big contract by the age 28, I'm out. And I started at 18, so I gave myself a 10-year runway.
Nice.
And the reason I did that is because it is a young man's game. There's not a lot of people who make it to the NFL at 40 and 50. You got to get in when it's young. Well, even though it's sports entertainment, you still got to get in and get some pretty good notoriety at a young age. So I told myself, 28 is it. If I don't see the results, I'm going to go all in on fitness instead. And that was my plan B. And so when you were bringing up, divine intervention, well, man, there is always resilience and something fighting you, but it felt like it was extra hard in wrestling. Like I just could not get a breakthrough. I couldn't get bookings. I couldn't get as much, I thought, momentum as I saw other people getting, and I was just starting to feel frustrated. So when I went all in on fitness and I decided to open a gym, the floodgates opened, and I went on, Andreas, to open 6 gyms in 6 years because
Wow, dude.
basically,
Come on.
again, I'm a believer, and so God was saying, this is where I got plans for you, Dustin. Like, you're supposed to be in fitness. This is fun. You can maybe keep this a hobby, but that's not where you're going to make your mark on the world. It's going to be here. So when I finally gave it my attention, it was just like all this good started to happen. I realized this is where I belong. This is where I need to put my energy and focus.
So six
like
gyms, man, and they're all in. We're all in Texas, and that is that
Southern
in that area?
California. Yeah,
California.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
California. Nice.
So yeah. So basically,
And you still have those gyms right now, or no?
no. So here's the learning lesson for
Boom.
everybody. So
Let's go.
I actually ended up having to close down 2 and sell a third.
Okay.
And the reason being is this is where I started to get my face grinded out by business lessons, things that I did not know, because I was naive to business. I was always just this individual performer. When I got in the ring, like I put on the best match because it was just all on me. I didn't have a team I needed to teach. When I was a personal trainer, I showed up and ran the session, and they were always fired because all the pressure was on me, and I could handle it, and I would always deliver. So when you open a business and you got a team, that really puts a whole new level of challenge on you. And if you never ran a team, well, you go to the school of hard knocks and you learn how to run a team through failures. And I say, hey, it's only a failure if you didn't learn something from it. Then it's a learning lesson, right? So you got to kind of, I've heard it said this way, that failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to success. You have to fail to get to success. So,
And I'm sorry, and this is to me something I said this week, and you kind of like just pulling it out for me right now is like, you know, sometimes we think if I give up or I stop, then I failed. And that's not true either, because listen, you stop wrestling. Did you fail wrestling? Well, no, because you learned. Let's not forget about the learning part. If you didn't learn anything from it, then you did fail and you wasted your time. So stay at it until you learn something. And I think that is a different perspective, a different journey, and a progress to get to success. It's part of success, but you make sure you're learning through the process. I love it. And hopefully I did justice on what you're trying to say and emphasize
I
that.
think the way that I've explained it is like, you have to remember that there's two P's at every major decision in your life. There's pivot, and then there's perseverance. And so the first one is perseverance. Like, like, should you quit if you're 1 month into doing something? No, you need to endure. You need to do it longer. You need to put in more reps. It's too early to give up. You need to persevere. And then you need to know, when is it time to pivot? Like, no, I've done this long enough. This isn't making sense. And, businesses do this. You see franchises that close their worst performing locations. Are they quitting? Are they shutting the whole company down? No, they're making the right call and cutting the unhealthy to keep the healthy ones alive. And so all of us have to make those calls, but they're usually the toughest. They require the most courage. They're the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I did not, trust me, I loved wrestling. I did not want to walk away from it. But I knew it was a distraction, and it wasn't going to be how I was going to make my impact and feed my family. You get paid $20 a show. A lot of shows I got paid with hot dogs and nachos. I didn't even get paid, so I lost money after you factor gas and food. So again, it is 100% a passion project until you make it to a major contract.
Yeah. I play pickleball right now a lot, and a lot of people I play with, they're like, oh yeah, I want to go pro. Yeah, cool, right? But right now it's a hobby, right? I mean, let's give it, and listen, if it turns out to be pro, fantastic, right? And, golfers are the same way, but kudos to you, man. Like, courageous to go after the wrestling part without really having like, oh, I have a family of wrestlers. No, some guy said, hey, let's try out some wrestling moves. I was like, yeah. Sure. That's awesome.
So then, going back to like the gyms and why I closed them, I thought, like a bonehead, that to open more gyms, it just meant I need to sign a lease, I need to buy equipment, and I need to hire coaches. And then done, I can just show them how to run a session and leave and go open another one in another town. And so it was happening very rapidly. Again, one a year after you build it out and you do the launch. I mean, that could be 6 months plus. And so it's like literally like after it opened, 3 months later, I'm out looking at buildings in the next town. So like to keep that cycle going, that's very aggressive. And so we talked about earlier about superpowers. I can definitely hang with the best of them in terms of drive, but it can also be my gift and my curse.
Of course.
And so what I learned was that I did not know what I did at location one, because I built location one to be $1 million facility really quickly. And so how did I get there? There was things that I did not document and teach to my team and duplicate that. And so when location two opened, they were just a bunch of cold hires off of Indeed, and they did not spend time in location one, which is, if there is another gym owner out there that is thinking of expanding, this is the right way to do it. They should spend 90 days, 6 months, even a year at location one, learning the culture, learning everything.
Yeah.
And then you have them move over to location two. They've been so indoctrinated. They've been so osmosis with all the things to do. They'll just live that daily, and they won't even know they're doing it. Where when you hire new and you open a new gym cold and they have no idea what you want to do, people learn kind of like monkey see, monkey do. Like, you've heard it said that leadership is caught, not taught. Yeah. So I got to catch what you're doing by spending time with you. But if I'm in a gym that's new and no one's doing anything, we're going to make up the culture ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened at those 6 gyms that we aggressively opened too quick.
I love that. Can I ask a question? Because this just gives me an idea here. So when you had the people that are going to open the new location, they're shadowing the current location. Let's say that's what you do. When you open up the new location, do you bring anybody from the old location to the new one?
Yeah, so if I could go back, now the mistake was I did not do that.
Right,
But this is
right,
the
right.
leadership lesson I learned was that, it was probably around the sixth location I finally caught on, because I was a dummy. And also, to be honest, I didn't have a mentor. And that's why
Right.
this is always a good, valuable lesson. Most of my buddies just all owned one. And I didn't seek a mentor who was a multi-location owner because they probably could have spoke wisdom into me.
Big time.
Said and that's what I'm trying to do here for anybody.
Yeah.
I guess best advice to anybody would be really make location one $1 million gym and make sure that it can run 30 days without you, and sales happen, retention is strong, culture survives, and you are not there for 30 days
Wow.
on site.
That's a
If
good
it
test right
happens,
there.
yeah,
Dustin, I mean, guys, listen up. That's huge. If you can get away from your gym for 30 days and then come back and it's better than you left it, then you found your number $1 million gym. Whether it's $1 million or not, it's just, a term, but it's just a gold. And now you can duplicate that, whatever you're doing. I like that. I love that.
That's the acid test for expansion, because people ask, how do I know when I can open number two, number three? And I say, you got to do this gym owner acid test. And if you fail this test, and so that's where you switch from being a CEO and a business owner from a business operator. Operators got to show up. Things won't happen without them. A sale won't take place. A session won't take place. A hire won't take place. Okay, well, you're still involved in the business. What's going to happen when you open location two? Now you're going to be spread even more thin, and your culture is going to get diluted. So that was the learning lesson for me, Andreas, is I didn't scale culture and leadership. And those were two secret ingredients that are like invisible and you don't know they're there till they're gone. And so that's what really hurt us and crippled us.
What do you call it? Business operator? And what was
the difference between a business operator and a business owner.
Got
An
it.
owner
Yeah.
doesn't show up like,
Yeah.
Tim Cook's not on the floor selling iPhones.
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
Everything's running swimmingly without him.
Yeah.
That's a business owner.
Yeah.
A business operator, which again, I'm not shunning anybody. I was an operator for
Yep.
years, like almost a decade. But as you alluded to earlier, like, why did we get California and Texas mixed up? I moved to Texas 2 years ago while I still have multiple gyms in California, and they are being ran without me, meaning I'm business owner status, and I have leaders running it. Culture is
Nice.
put into a system. Leadership is put into a system. Things are running without me. I can go 30 days. I can go 6 months without being on site, and everything will be just fine.
Yeah.
So, but again, guys, I'm not here to flex that on you. I'm a 10-year gym owner. So if you're year one, year two, and you're trying to hop to that, let me tell you, it's not going to happen. You have to walk through way more fire. But I don't want to say you have to wait till 10 years. I do believe you can shortcut it.
Sure.
You just need to spend some time with mentors and reach up. I believe, Andreas, in three-way leadership. You need to reach up to somebody further than you and have them pull you up. You also should reach down to someone that's more behind you,
Yeah.
and pull them up and give them some mentorship, because it feels good to mentor somebody. And then you should talk to peers, people who are at the same level, and ask them, what's going on? What are you doing at your gym? What are you doing at your gym? So, maybe that's single location gym owners, maybe you're equivalent in revenue members, but then the one you're reaching up is somebody who's got double the members, double the revenue, more gyms. And the one below is maybe a trainer is thinking of opening their gym, and you're telling them how to do it. What ended up happening is that although I had coaches, I didn't have leaders, which are the people who you have to trust to hold the standards, have the tough talks, make sure that all the KPIs are being hit. It was me and my wife literally overseeing 6 gyms. Like, that is absurd. And I can't believe we even did that. And we didn't, at the time, it's crazy. We didn't even think it was crazy. But looking back, I'm like, what were we thinking? This is nuts. So, no surprise, we closed down 2 that were in really tough markets. And we just jumped into them very foolishly, not doing our research. And then the other was just in a tough, area that we owned for a while, and we just needed to get it off our plate so we could concentrate on our ones that were in our best market. So again, another lesson I would say is, like buying a house, location, location, location. If you want to sell things to rich people, then you need to open a gym near rich people.
Yeah, it's going to cost you, but it should come out.
And so, Planet Fitness, they're changing their marketing strategy, but their first locations, they would actually scout low income areas, because who would go to a gym that's feeding you processed food and making you gain weight and think it's a great deal? low educated, low income people that want to steal all the bagels and Tootsie Rolls and use their shower, and they want to, and people who are educated and think about their health and they don't need your free crap, like, and they got the money, they're not going to go into Planet Fitness. They won't be caught dead there.
Right.
But now Planet Fitness has realized, oh crap, like we're now getting tagged as the low income place, and you see them opening new locations and new high end shopping centers, and they're trying to now touch both sides of the market.
Go is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.io/try to get started. Well, there's really, I think I was just having a talk with a gym owner, and there's really 2 areas. Like there's really high end and low end, and the middle really is going away. Like it's a days of the past, and LA Fitness, is doing this. They have two types of brands really, but honestly, like listen, own one side of the street, really pour into it, and then you can expand. Like Planet Fitness obviously is the biggest, I think, gym franchise out there.
Yeah, they say the middle is where death exists for a gym owner.
I love it.
You don't want to be in the middle. You either got to be higher price, which all small gyms should be, small business owners, small boot camps, personal training centers, studios, or you're a mega gym and you got the dollars to go at a $10, $20, $30 gym membership, but you're chasing thousands of members. So I bet most people are listening to this are small business owners, and so they need to be on the higher price, less people paying more, that will be more engaged is kind of their attack. So I walk them through that in the book. So again, shameless plug, Reinforce Your Gym. I literally explain how to do it step by step if you're not sure, so that you can charge what you're worth, because most gym owners are undercharging for the
undercharging. I agree. I mean, listen, what you're actually providing for the member, you got to provide so much value. I 100% and care about them, and it's forget it. Like that value is super high for sure. $30 or $40 is it's okay, but it's not like, again, it's lukewarm. It's it's either like something that's $10, like okay, whatever, then you volume, right? But then hey, you're charging 100 plus, 200 plus, per month just for the membership, But obviously you want to give more value. That's good stuff, man. Thank you so much, bro. I love that. Can I ask you, I'm going to put a question on to you. Is there something that you can offer our audience that can help them right now? Is something that you do with gym reinforcements? So I don't know what you have that you can help our audience, because I would love them to say, hey, yeah, let me grab that, let me be part of Dustin's world,
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually outline my whole follow-up process that we do at Gym Reinforcements in the book. It's called the Fortune Follow-Up System.
Okay.
But I would say what I'm happy to send to the audience, usually people need 2 things. They need leads and they need coaches, because I'm talking about, I need follow-up. Well, I need leads to follow up with. And then, hey, Dustin, I hear you. I need to get myself off the floor, so I need coaches.
Yeah.
So if you guys DM me the word ReviewBiz, I will send you 2 resources. I will send you the top 7 lead generators. It is a video, training that I did for my audience. I have a Facebook group if you guys want to join called Gym Reinforcements. I will send you that. No problem. It's 30 minutes. It's very worth your time to find 7 ways to get new leads. And then secondly, I also have a PDF that is called the Ultimate Hiring Process for Gym Owners.
Nice.
And it's literally a 9-step process. Most gym owners, it's too easy. I walk in, tell you I'm certified. Let's see you take a session tomorrow. Good enough. Welcome to the team. And it's a 1 or 2 step process. And I'll tell you, like, I've been there. I hired a guy who came in, pitched himself. We weren't even hiring, but I said yes just because he seemed like a nice guy. And that was so it was literally one meeting closed to
Right.
get a job. Now, here's the thing I've learned through many years of business ownership and studying books and other leaders. People value things that are harder to attain. That's why the longer the degree, the more prestigious, right? Like if you could become a doctor in a year, like it's still useful, but it might not be as prestigious to put,
Yeah.
MD after your name. So the more people have to work for something, so like it's okay, it's 9 steps. People say that's a lot of work. You're actually protecting your reputation. You're making people fight for a position in your company, which should be hard to get because you protect culture. And
Love it.
again, that's just a major learning lesson that I went through.
Protect culture. I love that.
Yeah.
So good. So give us again, you've given us two things. So one is the
Well,
hiring guide. And then what is the other one?
the top 7 lead generators video training. So a PDF and a video training. If you DM me the word review biz,
Where do they DM you?
Instagram or Facebook.
What's
Either
your
one.
profile tag?
Just search my name, Dustin Bogle. You'll find me really easily.
We have a video and audio, so check out our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it. But we'll put it there for in the show notes as well. So make sure we do that. Team,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And the big thing I want to say to, we said motivate, we said delegate. The next thing is sell. And so the biggest thing that I found is that people have these really weird, misconceptions when it comes to sales. They feel icky, they feel weird. So I'd say there's 2 things you can work on. Number 1, your money mindset. What was money like in terms of a subject in your household when you were a kid? Was it this weird subject that you didn't touch with a 10-foot pole, and there was all these phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, and what do you think I'm made of, money, and this is going to cost an arm and a leg? Well, now everything that's been programmed into you as a kid has been negative around money. And so if you can't get something if you hate it. So if you mentally are wired to dislike rich people and people with wealth and people with money, how do you think you're going to become one? Your subconscious wants to align with your beliefs. So if you believe they're bad people, if they lie, cheated, and steal to get it, it's a bad thing to have a lot of money, that, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, your brain will literally look for ways for you to stay poor and to align your actions with that of a person that doesn't have money, because it hears your thoughts about you don't want money.
Yeah.
So I'd say the first thing you do is audit your money mindset. You should clap it up. That's why I love, again, my friends like Andreas. When this hits bestseller, they're the first one to DM me. Congrats, man. That's what people who want to attract wealth, they are abundant minded. And they say, I heard that your company hit this record. Congrats. I heard you made a bigger impact. I heard you've hit a new, income goal. Congrats. And they just keep spotlighting it and saying good things because they are honestly happy. But they also know that's how you attract abundance back into your life, because now those people are applauding you. They're looking ways to help you out. And it's this very, giving culture.
It's a little formula there, guys. Just, hey, listen up there. It's super cool, super true.
Yeah. But you go and just observe how a broke person talks about money, right? And they're like, somebody had to lie, cheat, and steal to get it. They're trying to scam the system. They're trying to find shortcuts. They talk smack when somebody gets money. And so these are the things that you don't want and you want to be mindful of. And you want to definitely catch yourself if you're saying things negatively, and you want to just change your whole thinking around it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first reason why I think a lot of people go into a sales situation kind of feeling all clammy and nervous, because they just have weird feelings about asking for money. But it's just a service. You're providing an amazing service. And I think gym owners kind of downplay what they're doing. They're like, oh, it's just a workout and I'm teaching them what to eat. What's the big deal? But if this person is literally going to have an extended time on this planet, what is the price of that? Honestly, right? If you're going to give me 10, 15, 20 more years, because without you, I would have had a heart attack at 50, but I get to live to 70 because you came into my life and changed me. That's what I think about the old Dustin. What was his trajectory at 260 at 17 years old? Who knows if I would have kept gaining and gaining and had a heart attack at 30. Thank God that guy invited me to the gym.
Yeah.
He literally saved my life.
Yeah.
And so that's what you want to think about. It's really check your conviction. How convicted are you in what you do? Are you really looking at it as a transactional thing? They give me money and I just give them workouts. You're not convicted in the right things. You got to get deeper on your purpose.
This is so true. This is actually a theme that I've seen this month for me, and it was Ed Milet was talking about, he was selling insurance, and so if he would have, it was a guy that was one of his leads, and he didn't like pursue it enough, and the guy ended up dying and his family with nothing. So you can't control death, right? But you can control, hey, listen, if your sale could have saved their life, but meaning the family's, trajectory in their wealth, that would have been a big difference. Like, hey, listen, you lost somebody, but hey, listen, at least, the house is, you're not gonna lose the house. You're not gonna, what else are you gonna not lose, right? So if their life depended on you closing their sale because you have value, and as a business owner, sometimes we have these like roller coasters, like, oh my gosh, am I really making an impact? Is this even worthwhile? I felt that, and it's like, oh, but then you listen to a review, like you said, hey, I wish I would have started earlier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? Thank you so much. You hit it, three powerful things. I want to make sure that I have something called the Fast Five, and so we're gonna hit that now. By the way, the questions that I had for you, like you knocked them out without having me to ask you the questions. Congratulations. That was pretty good. Only one that you didn't really answer, and maybe you can we'll real quick tell us something that in your life that helped you stay in track, helped you going up and down life, left and right. It's a roller coaster. So what are some guardrails? What is the guidelines that you had or that you have right now that's helped you get to where you are?
I think it's always been the standards I set for myself, and what I thought was possible. And that's why it's so important to get around other people that are doing bigger things, because they open your mind up. And here's the crazy part, guys, that I've learned more and more. They say don't meet your heroes. I've met a lot of my heroes, and I'm shocked when I meet them. Wow. That they do not seem that much smarter than the average Joe or Jane. They just learn how to channel into one area and turn it into a very successful business. And so they're very good at focus, where I think the average person is very easily distracted. And you see that in what's being sold to us. New versions of things constantly being updated, new shows on social media. Like, look at the ways that they hook people. It's just like, we just got to keep rolling out new stuff, and we got them, hook, line, and sinker. And so essentially the people who are really successful, they just got tremendous focus. And so what I've learned through the years is to raise my standards and to increase my focus. That when the old Dustin that had no standards, and that's why he was 260 pounds and had no direction in life. And then when I lost the weight, that now became my standard. I was just like, I'll never go back. I'll never be that obese Dustin again. This is the new me. My standards were raised.
I love it.
And so that's what I think is the best guardrail somebody can set for themselves is, if you're not setting standards for yourself, get around people with higher standards. They will naturally pull it up. And now that will be your new standard in life. And so it could be an income standard. Like, I'm sure there's numbers we all worked for in our teenage years we would never go back and take a job for. But that was a great standard because you never had a job. So you start at zero. So these are standards that increase over time. So I think it's just constantly improving your standards for yourself as you grow.
I love that. If I could add that, because it reminds me of, listen, don't go after perfection. Understand what standard you want to make sure because perfection is like, you can't even see it in the screen. It's like beyond. Yes. You'll never reach it. You'll never find it. But if you have a standard, make sure you're going towards it and are hitting it. Because then there's like sloppy and messy, and I get it. Like sometimes you start sloppy and messy, but hey, listen, let's have a little standards. Reach for it and get it. Thank you so much for that. That's huge. That's huge, Dustin. Thank you. So we're gonna hit the Fast Five, and so you probably already touched on these already because you kind of answered the questions without me asking. Thank you, making my job a little easier, Dustin. That's awesome. Who is an influential? You ready? Who is an influential, whether ready or not? Here we go. I know you are. So who is an influential person in your business journey?
Oh, man, I've had so many, but I would say somebody that I just keep learning from over and over and over again is Ed Milet. Like, you brought him up earlier, and I'm like, man, that guy, like, and I will tell you this, I'll probably admit this, He's the only speaker that has gotten me to cry
Wow.
publicly twice. So he just hits a different emotional center for me. So
So good.
he really, yeah, he's taught me a lot.
That's good. Everybody, listen, you have a speaking voice and you're going to touch other people. Make sure that you have a voice as well. I just want to,
Yeah,
I always have these 2 cents. I got to add them. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're
Sorry,
good,
not
man.
sorry. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your business?
More about leadership.
Mm,
I just got focused on the task of the job, and I didn't know what was going to be expected of me as a business owner, as a leader. So I would say the sooner the better. Dive into your understanding of leadership.
so good. Love it. What's a book, a blog, a podcast, or some kind of media you've consumed recently that's positively impacted you?
Go back to leadership. Two of my favorites is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink,
Mm,
and then Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. I think those are your two like entry level books that you gotta read and reread, because you're probably not even gonna grab everything you can out of it the first time through, and then you learn more and you become more mature, more wise. So when you even go back and reread them, you pull things out of it you didn't the first time. So those are two I would say that are huge.
I love it. One of our common friends is Jody Run. She mentioned Jocko as well. So
Yeah.
love it. Um, do you have a favorite online tool?
I use a lot of tools, but one that I didn't think I was gonna love that I ended up really enjoying is Slack.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
so I just thought like, oh man, we got email, we got text, but it's allowed a lot of noise to go down
Hmm.
because I got it all communication tucked away in this one place, and I can just not answer it. So it's helped me to have more focus. So I'm really enjoying Slack.
It's so true. And I just finished a trial and I'm like, dude, I got these many people and it's not bad. It's not that expensive, but it's free. Like, listen,
Yeah.
guys, start it free. You get full access, everything for free. It's so cool. Uh, I agree with you, man. Especially for a culture, that's one of the apps, and you can get on your phone. It's so good. Agreed with that. Um, what's one habit or practice that you do that you believe everybody would benefit from doing?
I mean, that's easy, man, and that's working out.
Sure.
I mean, I know I'm talking to the choir here because this is
Sure.
a Gym Owner podcast, but guys, we got a lot of work to do in our country. I don't know if you've heard the latest stats, but we're on track to be 50% obese
Wow.
by the year 2030 in America,
Yeah.
and 50% obese in the world by 2035.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, America is leading the way in obesity, which is not a good thing. And if you also don't know this, there's the healthy body weight range, there's the overweight, and then there's the obese. So to think 50% of the population is
Obese.
going to be in that high category is scary. So I think we need to just be very convicted in getting this message out more and more to people and helping them to make the decision to live longer, because that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I did a search and it was like 110,000 gyms. It was like before COVID. And it's going up and down, it's around that area. And I just feel like it's not enough. I feel like we need more. I don't it or we just need better programs, guys. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Provide the value that they can. So that's it for the Fast Five. I do have one last question. This is like I love this question. So, you ready?
Let's do it,
All
man.
right. So, if you can go back in time and share one piece of advice to 10-year-old Dustin, what would it be?
Take more, or I should say this, say yes more, because the first 30 years of my life, I said no to almost everything, uh, and that was scary. And I think that I could have explored more that life had to offer if I said yes. So, just basically, I think it came down to again a body image issue that I said I didn't, like again going back to high school, I didn't go to my prom, I didn't play high school football. Like these are all things that I think
Mm,
back, like man, I would have had a blast now that I'm an adult. Why did I miss it? I didn't date any girls in high school. My first girlfriend was after high school. No, 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 no. And so that just left me with regret. So
mm.
I would say, you know, definitely saying yes to more.
Yeah, not worrying about the body image. Just say yes. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Listen, they're going to talk about you no matter what, right? Oh, man, it's good advice. Good advice, dude. This has been a really great podcast with my friend Dustin. I can't believe we've been kind of going around and rescheduling and times and stuff, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're with you and sharing this with the whole audience. Dustin, thanks again so much for coming out. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, sir. Andreas, thank you for everything you do to help gym owners and help them to get the word out about their business so we can turn the tide on this obesity, pandemic that's going on across the whole world. And guys, again, a ninja tactic from reviews is to read them to your team at every team meeting, to reconvict them and to re-energize them, because sometimes they don't see that. Sometimes only the owner sees the reviews because they don't log into the Google and the Facebook and all the places you get them. So definitely look into Andreas' service, because that's a great tool. Because again, the great part of being a great CEO, motivate, delegate, and sell. So make sure you're showing up and you're motivating and being the energizer bunny that everybody can plug into.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you again for that. I appreciate that. One of the questions I want to ask in the future is, how's reviews helping you in your business? And so you just did that naturally, and I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
Dustin, thank you again. Hope for great success, even more.
Yes.
Best-selling author. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Guys, only the best here at the Gym Owners Growth Zone. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. All right.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Awesome. Man, that was such a fun episode. I really enjoyed what Dustin said about his personal transformation journey and his passion for fitness and his experience in wrestling. Also, the lead generation process he shared is something to take note. What was your favorite takeaway from our episode? I want to make sure you're able to connect with us at Meet Esco on Instagram and share what really stood out for you. We would love to hear your thoughts, and also make sure you grab your no-cost QR code flyer at reviewbiz.io/QR code. And I want to thank you so much for taking your time to listen to this episode today. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show on the platform you're currently listening on and leave us a rating. That would be amazing. It would truly mean the world to us. Also, if you want to subscribe to YouTube, it would give you all the episodes so you don't miss it, and some extra content as well. As always, I want to thank you so much for your encouragement, and I truly appreciate you listening to our podcast and helping us improve with your comments. And I'll see you next time in the Growth Zone.